This is Things I Need to Learn in Life I Didn't Learn in School, covering everything we should know as adults that got glossed over in our classrooms. With your host, Wave News anchor, Dawne Gee.
It is an exciting day. Welcome to Things I Need to Know in Life I Didn't Learn in School. I'm Dawne Gee with Wave News, and I will be joined by a host of experts and folks that can share things with us that will make our life easier, things that we need to know. We're starting with finances first, which is why I have Marcus Warren with me today. He's our financial guru. Marcus, kind of talk about what you do.
So I am a financial planner and tax enrolled agent. Basically, I really deal with everything that has to do with finance and investing and retirement for my clients. So anything from planning to leave a legacy, estate planning, taxes, investment management, we do it all.
Okay, so I heard that. I don't have a clue what he's talking about. I heard that, and I even look at my parents. I remember when they retired, and they retired relatively young. But I remember when they retired and the house was paid off, and the week that they told us they retired, they left on a trip to Hawaii.
Nice.
And they've been around the world. They've been to Europe. I can't count the number of times. They went on a mission to Africa for a month. And I look at that.
Wow.
That's the retirement I want. And I'm not bashing my parents by any means or any school that I've ever gone to. But no one ever sat me down and said, this is what you do to prepare your life. So you have the life you want until the end of your life, other than my grandmother who said, you pay God first, and then you pay yourself, and then you take care of the rest of the bills. How did you get where you are to have this knowledge so that you can share it with us?
You know, it's interesting because growing up, I really wasn't, I didn't get the advice that you did from your grandmother. By the way, that was great advice. Pay tithe, pay yourself, and then handle everything else. Those three things. Hopefully, it really does work. It really does work out well. So, from a standpoint of my story, kind of growing up, is I'm kind of in that same boat everybody else is. Where you just kind of learn on the fly. The stuff you don't learn about finance and financial literacy or retirement in school. My parents just worked, and they really never talked about retirement. And so my journey, when I finished college, I kind of stumbled upon finance. I started working as a financial analyst for MCI WorldCom, and then I started working for a bank, and then I got into investing with a brokerage called Edward Jones. And then from there, that is when my education basically began. And what I found out is that a lot of people don't understand investments. They don't think about retirement. And one of the things that I try to do is try to teach people about those things.
Well, I'm glad that you're here with us today because we really need to learn. Now, this is only going to be the beginning, but that we have to start somewhere. Finance is freedom.
Right.
Finance is freedom. If I'm financially set, when those bad things in my life come, they're not as overwhelming.
Right.
So I'm not even really sure where to start because retirement is different depending on where you start.
Right.
20-year-old 401k is going to be a lot different than my 401k right now. 401k, I told them, look, I'm getting ready to retire. Y'all need to do something where I'm not going to lose my money. Was it 2008? I lost 50%. Hear what I'm saying? I lost 50% of my retirement and couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, you and a lot of people did, and that's because they kind of just go in without a plan. And you're talking about retirement, and you're right. It is different, and so. I wrote a book called The Retirement Playbook. And in that book, I compare retirement and retirement planning to mountain climbing. And so if you can picture this, as you're going up the mountain, we call it up retirement mountain, you are in that accumulation phase. You have your job, you get your paycheck. Hopefully you're contributing to your company retirement plan, and all you're doing is working. You're getting that paycheck from the employer, you're putting money away, you're working your way up that up that mountain. Now the stock market is going to do what it always does. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, but you're not worried about that, or shouldn't worry about it, especially when you start that job, because you're continually putting money in. Now, once you get close and then you're in retirement, once you hit the summit of that mountain, it's just like you're saying, that's when things change. That's when you're 5 or 3 years away from retirement, or you're starting to retire, and now things change. Now you have to start the descent down the mountain, and we call that the distribution phase or the preservation phase, just like you're saying. In 2008, lost a lot. Now that you're getting closer to retirement, you're like, I just don't want to lose any money. And when you're in retirement, things do change. You stop working, and now that employer isn't giving you that paycheck anymore. Now you're responsible with coming up with income throughout that retirement. And now the stock market always is going to do what it does. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. However, now you're pulling money from that nest egg. And when the market is down and you're pulling money out, things change. Plus, you got to start thinking about Medicare, Social Security, where that income's going to come from, taxes, if you want to leave something for kids and grandkids. And so the ball game changes, and that's why you have to be prepared.
Well, it's so funny. My mom and dad said to me the other day, there may be a chance that legacy money we told you about, it may not be
right.
as much as we told you that it was. Okay, so we have to start somewhere. First off, you said you're putting that money in. I put the money into my 401k. If your company has one, tell me if this was right or wrong. If your company has a 401k, you should be participating.
Yes, you should always contribute at least up to the match. And basically, a match is basically when you contribute up to a certain percentage, your company then adds more money to your account. So
that's free money.
Free
I know.
money.
I'm learning,
Yes,
Marcus.
yes.
Are you proud of me? That is free money. So
Yes.
take that match. I also believe that if you can put that money in there, automate it, that means pre-tax.
Yes.
They snatch that out. I promise you, I don't even know what I'm putting in there, and I don't even know when I do it. But I look in there sometimes, and I feel like I shouldn't look, but
you're right.
I can't help it. I can't help it. I look in there sometimes, and I see that I put it in there, but it's like I don't even know it. So I think automate it is good.
Yeah, you have to automate it. If you don't see it, if it doesn't hit your bank account, then you're not inclined to use it. So if you can get those pre-tax distributions, that's the best way to contribute to a retirement plan. Especially, it's kind of like Ron Papil and those infomercials. You set it and you forget it. And that's what you should do when you're first starting out with the company, when you first have that plan. Set however much you can put away, do that, and then forget it. Don't look at it, just let it grow, continually put money in, especially if you're a long way away from retirement, and then you should be fine.
When you're younger, like you said, it's gonna look different.
Yes.
What happens if where I work or the job I do doesn't have that easy little 401k match automated deal, but I still want to save? I'm going to be in retirement. Like, I look at my youngest son who has his own, not my youngest, my middle son, who has his own business. Now, he saves. He's a saver.
Good.
But I don't know that he's like a stock person saver.
Yeah.
So what if you don't have a 401k and the place that you work for, or maybe it's your own business? How do you save for retirement?
Good question. So if you don't have a company retirement plan, which some companies don't offer retirement plans, or you work for yourself, you can set up your own individual retirement account, your IRA. So you can set up a traditional IRA, or you can set up a Roth IRA. And what you're able to do, you're able to contribute up to a certain amount, And right now it's $6,000 if you're under 50. If you're over 50, you get a $1,000 catch-up contribution, so you can contribute up to $7,000 a year if you're over 50. Each and every year. And so that's where you should start if you don't have a retirement plan. Contribute to that Roth or that traditional IRA. After that, you can always put money away in a brokerage account if you want to have your money work for you. I would say a savings account or a CD, but right now with interest rates so low, you put it in the bank. A savings account is paying 0.00%.
That's nothing.
So that's probably not going to make you money over the long term. But you should always start at least with that IRA, that individual retirement account. You put that money in and it grows tax deferred, similar to a 401k or a 403b. And so you can really find and get that compound interest if you at least start there. Now, if you're self-employed, then you can start your own solo 401k.
But
There's
where is that, though? And you were talking about the Roth IRA and all of, like, there's not like a Roth store.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was maybe 22 and I went into a bank, can't even remember what bank it is, and
Right.
asked them about an IRA, and they said, oh, yes, we have that. And I gave them $50. I don't remember the bank. I don't know where that money is. I don't know if there's more money. I don't know anything. I just remember my grandmother was just hammering me,
Yep.
save money. And I just walked into a bank, IRA, please. Where do we go? There's not a hey retirement store.
True. But now there are a multitude of options for people who want to invest either in a brokerage account or in an individual retirement account, an IRA or Roth. There's Vanguards. You can go online now. You can go to Vanguard. You can go to TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, the Fidelity. Those companies and online sites, they have options where a few clicks of the button and bam, you've started your IRA, and you can connect that to your bank account, and then you can have those contributions go there. If not, you can, believe it or not, still walk into a brick and mortar bank like you did long ago and ask and open up an IRA at a Chase Bank, PNC, Republic Bank, whatever that may be, and they'll be more than happy to take that account and open up an IRA.
Yeah, see, that's why you can tell that I'm old. Like, I don't like these automated things. I want a person and a face, and I want to be able to talk to somebody, but we don't have that anymore. I don't mean to panic anyone, but I am uber crazy cautious.
Right.
Is there anything we need to think about or watch out for? Because if you take my money and you scam me, I'm going to be mad.
Right.
I'm coming for you.
Right. And, really when anyone is planning for retirement, whether they do it yourself, but more importantly, if you want to work with someone, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that they are a fiduciary, meaning that they have a fiduciary responsibility to put their client's interest above their own.
Instead of making money for themselves.
And unfortunately, Wall Street back in the day, a little bit still now, they do have a reputation for putting their interest, Wall Street's interest, above their client's interest. But you need to make sure you're working with a good fiduciary advisor. And you have to have, I always say, you need an advisor who is also going to take the time to educate you on where your money is, what you're invested in, how it works, and then meet with you regularly to answer any other questions and to make adjustments as things change throughout retirement or pre-retirement.
Okay, and I know that's what you do, so I know it can't be free.
Right.
Okay, so we pay you.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that fee is fair or that fee is good? And how do we check out the person to know? Because I used to not check out businesses, but I do now because I've had shady people.
Right.
I mean, I had some folks who were coming to put up a fence and a new deck and all that, and it was taking months.
Yeah.
I mean, months. It's just a deck and a fence.
Yeah.
And I left home one day and I told the desk here, I said, I need to tell you, I'm getting ready to go home. I'm going to be a little crazy when I get there. If I don't come back or if something happens, I need you to know that's where I am. And so I left, and these people were having a party in my backyard with music.
Really?
And they weren't doing, I lost my mind.
Wow.
So from that point, I check anybody coming in to do business for me with the BBB. How do I check the financial person to know you are good and you're going to help me?
So yeah, there are a few different tools that you can utilize. You can go to FINRA, FINRA.org, and they have a broker check where you can just see if they are actually a broker. There's SEC, the SEC.gov website, which has information on brokerage firms and advisory firms, and that's a good place to start. You can also check with the Better Business Bureau. A lot of times, if there's been complaints, if there's been issues, a lot of times people do take that to the Better Business Bureau. So it's the same, it's the same kind of concept. But yes, you are correct. You need to make sure that you've done your due diligence, in addition to especially if you're going to hand someone, your retirement or your life savings.
Yeah, you always have to be an advocate for yourself.
Yes.
We have so much to talk about. We're not going to get it done in just this one show. And so Marcus Warren will be back with us, I hope. I'm saying that. I hadn't even asked him yet. But just to get a few more things in, I did a story not long ago where I learned that women need to save differently from men when it comes to retirement. We live longer.
Yep.
We have babies and often step away from work, so we have gaps in our
Absolutely.
And we don't get paid the same. We should, but we don't get paid the same, so we need to save differently.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And really, it's funny because women generally make better investors over the long term than men, and that's because, men tend to be a little more aggressive. Women tend to be a little more conservative, and over the long term, that tends to work out a lot better. But you are absolutely right. And really, because the main thing is that women live a lot longer, and so you are going to need to have money that's going to last as long as you do. And so when you are investing, and when women are investing, they have to make sure that they have growth investments in their portfolio because you live 7-8 years, a lot longer than men, and then of course those gaps in employment that you were talking about that can create issues if you don't have a plan moving forward into retirement. So you're absolutely right.
I hear about these things. I know I'm going to say it wrong. Honeycomb or Acorn or
Acorn,
isn't that a little savings thing?
Yeah, so Acorn is an app that really lets you invest your change, so to speak.
Oh, so that's not like a retirement fund.
Well, it can be, because it can go into an IRA, but if you're talking about
do you believe in those apps?
I do. Acorn is fine. There's, I'm not a fan of, some of the Robinhood apps, the Coinbase.
Robinhood. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know where Honeycomb came from.
Things of that nature, because they have gamified a lot of investing, and a lot of young people who are on those apps are not really investing for retirement. They're basically gambling, and when you make a trade, confetti shoots out and comes down, and makes it into a game, and it gives you reports all the time and this information, and it really causes those investors, I say investors, those speculators and gamblers to trade a lot more than they should. And long term, I wouldn't recommend being on those apps. I think it's a good place to start, but long term, no.
All right. I have to ask this question just because it's so big. People are doing this whole Bitcoin and digital.
Okay, yes.
I got to bring it up because even people in this newsroom, you see them, they're look at my Bitcoin, look at my this and that. Yeah. I don't know what it is, so I'm not giving my money. I don't want to lose my money, but some of them are making money.
Yeah, well, some, not a lot, some. So, I'm going to start talking, and people are going to be like, "Okay, boomer," because cryptocurrencies. Number one, there's over 18,000 cryptocurrencies, And right now we're in the midst of a crypto crash where the Bitcoins, the Dogecoins, the Shiba Inus, whatever they're called. See, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
I mean, it took a dive. Like even Bitcoin, it took a dive.
Yes, everything has taken a dive, and that's pure speculation. I think the way that cryptocurrencies, NFTs, all of these, I call it funny money, the way that works, I think that if you can go back to the .com bubble back in the late 90s, right? The late 90s, where if you put .com after something, people jumped in and everything was going up and up and up. Eventually that bubble burst and most of these companies were never making money. A good portion of them went under. We had 3 years of the market being down, 2000, 2001, 2002. And out of that rubble, that's when you started to have better internet companies, the Amazons, things of that nature that were going to be around for the long term. I think the same thing is going to happen with cryptocurrencies. And so there's so many that are out there. So many people are just speculating. So many people are just losing a lot of money that when we do have these crashes, this isn't the first crypto crash, by the way, but it wipes mostly everyone out. And then you'll start to hopefully see, and I'm thinking 5, 7, 8 years down the line, you'll start seeing some of these cryptocurrencies that are going to be around for a while. Those are the ones that are going to last. But there's a cryptocurrency called Luna. I think that's what it was called. It was $80 at one point, and in a matter of 1 week, went down to zero.
Ooh.
And so Miami put out a cryptocurrency that's down 95%. Funny money is not where you should base your retirement on. That's it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
That's my humble opinion.
I don't get it, and I don't understand it because they looked at me and I was talking to someone and they said, we don't even know what is Bitcoin, who is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We don't have a clue where it came from.
Yeah,
and then it's like, we know the worth of $1.
Yeah.
You don't know the worth of digital money.
Yeah, it's that funny money that's out there. I call it funny money. It's highly speculative. It's subject to wild swings. Like you're saying, most of it, 99% of it is backed by absolutely nothing. But a lot of people are trading on it and losing a lot of money. Other than that, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and again, you research for yourself. We're
Right.
trying to make sure that you have the information. We probably don't have a lot more time here. There's just so much we can talk about. So like I said, these are things you need to learn in life that you just didn't learn in school, but when you do, they will help you in life. So we're going to have to come back and do, there are things you should do when you're 20. If you're there are different things you do when you're 30.
Yes.
Totally different things at 40, and we're not going to be able to get all that in today. If you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you could have sat your younger self down, or somebody who's listening right now, this is what you've got to do to be prepared for retirement. It would be
when you get that first job. You should contribute to that retirement plan, just like we said, 401k, 403b, whatever that may be.
What is a 403b?
A 403b is basically an educator's 401k, healthcare. Instead of 401ks, they have 403bs.
My daughter's a teacher.
Yes.
And she knows when she retires, she's going to have kind of like a pension.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
Pensions are a little bit different. Pensions
are...
Pensions aren't around anymore, but pension is where the company bears the responsibility.
So isn't that funny? Even here at WAVE, when you left WAVE, when you worked here, you continued to keep your health care, your dental care, your eye care, and all of that. Now that's gone.
Yep.
Nobody has that anymore.
Right.
It's not your father's retirement.
No, real quick though, if you can give me a minute,
Yes.
in regards to pensions and all of that stuff. So, back in the late, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, people had pensions, right? You would retire, your parents' retirement, right? You would retire, you get to go to Washington, you get a pension. A pension was when the company basically held the burden of paying into your retirement account while you were working. And then once you retired, then that pension would pay out throughout your life, right? That all started to change in the mid-'80s with the advent of the 401k. And I call that the great risk shift. That's when the risk shifted from the employers who used to have to fund your pensions and then pay it out, and then also provide that health care that you were talking about. Then it switched over to the employees, where the pensions have gone the way of the dodo bird. They're extinct, and now people are faced with these 401ks, these defined contribution plans, where now they take on the burden of having to put money away into their account, hopefully invest it, keep their fingers crossed, and once they retire, they're responsible. And so you're absolutely right when you say pensions, all that company-paid pensions, company-paid health care, all that's gone. The risk is now on the employee. So to circle back to the question as far as what can people do now to make sure that they are safe and secure in retirement, when you're starting out, or even if you're mid-career, or even if you're close to retirement, if you have that company retirement plan, you need to contribute to it as much as you can. Like I said, at least up to the company match if they have one, because you can get that free money. After that, you need, number one, you need to also put it, or number two, you need to also make sure that you're invested in just a balanced mutual fund or a balanced index fund. You don't need to try to get crypto or anything speculative. Just stick with a balanced mutual fund, put money in. Don't look at it, just continue to put it in, and you'll find out by the time you reach retirement that you'll have a pretty good nest egg. I always suggest when you're getting close to retirement to sit down with a good fiduciary advisor to help them map out a plan for all the things I talked about as you're going down that mountain. When to take Social Security, when to apply for Medicare. You have to deal with taxes.
Because the longer you hold off on Social Security, the more you get.
Yep, you can take it as early as 62. However, if you take it at 62, you're going to get 70 cents on the dollar. Then, of course, you have full retirement age. When you're 66 or 67, you get 100% of it. You can wait to take it to until you're age 70. And if you wait every year after your full retirement age, it goes up 8%. So you can basically be pulling, if you wait 4 years, if your full retirement age is 66, you wait till 70, that's 4 years, that's 32%. That you're going to have more of to pull from throughout retirement. So there's a lot of things. You're all right. We could talk about this for a long time, but there's so many things about retirement that you have to plan for.
But this makes me feel better. And you were talking about make sure you had balanced
mutual fund
and all that. Okay, I'm going to be honest. In my 401k, I just said, y'all pick something and make sure it's good.
Yeah.
And they were like, we can't pick for you.
Yep.
I don't know what I have.
Yeah. Well, it's what I was talking about, that great risk shift where when you had
like
the pensions.
Like it's 800 funds and stocks.
Yes.
How do we learn what that is?
So that great risk shift, you had to start taking money out of your own paycheck and putting it into your 401k, right? Your own retirement plan. But not only that, you're right. Now they're expecting you to be these investment managers and pick from, their,
I have a hard time picking a watermelon at the Kroger, tapping on it, trying to make sure that it's going to be tasty. How am I going to pick these funds I don't know about?
Yes, and that is why people talk about the retirement crisis. People aren't sure if you're overly aggressive. You pick an overly aggressive fund and then you lose money. If you're conservative, your money's not working for you. That's why I say if you can find something, and it's easier said than done. You're right, because you don't get the guidance from that HR department or that benefits department. But find a good balanced index fund, something like that. Set it, let it grow, and you should be fine.
We'll be back. I promise that we will be back. If you have topics, questions, ideas, you just need to rant, please reach out to me. You all know that I'm an easy person to find. My email here at Wave is the letter D for Dawn, my last name, Gee, at wave3.com. That's the number, DG at wave3.com. Talk to me about what we need to find out. But there is just so much we need to know, because give the percentage of people who get to retirement age, and this is what makes me cry. It does. It brings tears, and they have nothing.
Right.
They have nothing, Marcus.
Yeah, the statistics are out there, and they talk about the retirement crisis, and that is because more than half of workers out there,
more than 50% of Americans are in retirement age, and they don't have a dime. What does someone like that do?
They just rely on Social Security, and we know that Social Security is not enough. Social Security was implemented just to be a supplement to whatever you've saved, and more people are relying solely on Social Security, and it's just not enough.
And just to let people know, and it has nothing to do with retirement, if you are on that fixed income and you're having trouble paying your LG&E or paying your water bill, you need to reach out and tell them that, because there are funds and there are accounts that they can place you in that may be able to help, but you've got to let them know, and you can't just keep that to yourself. Before we end this, is there anything else? Because this is just the start of retirement. And if I didn't ask a question that you needed to know, I apologize, but just tell me to have Marcus come back and we'll talk about it. Is there anything that I missed, Marcus, that you think we need to know?
No, I think it just boils down to, so I talk to a lot of retirees, a lot of people who have lived a lot of life. And the one thing that they say they wish they would have done is they wish they would have started earlier.
Oh.
And
if I was in a Baptist church, I'd be standing up right now going, preach that, brother.
Yeah.
I think I started when I was 27, but 20-something, but I left the job I was in.
Yeah.
And then I took that 401k and I spent the money.
Hey, you and a lot of people.
That's not what you should do. You have
stories.
to keep up with your 401ks too. If you move, you don't just leave them there, do you?
No, 401ks are portable. You can take them with you to the next company, or you can roll it over into your own IRA, and you still have it and it's there. There are a lot of orphaned 401ks and
I'm not even sure,
plans.
right? I have so many companies that I work for. I don't even, I know I have money out there. I know I do. I don't know how to find it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
orphan 401ks.
Yeah, they're out there. And, it's just about starting early, keeping up with those 401ks and continuing to put money into those accounts. Like I said, I talked to a lot of retirees, and that's the one regret that they have, is that they wish they would have started early and just kept up with it. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that is sad. It breaks my heart, because it really makes me nauseous, because that's my thought. Why didn't I start? I just felt like I couldn't. It was too hard. And my grandma would say, even if you put $2 away. Yeah. And I was like, you don't understand. I don't have that money. And I was belligerent about it.
Yep.
But you can, even if it is $2.
Yeah, I remember my mother, she's very giving and charitable. When I first had my job a long time ago, this is going to show my age, my minimum wage was $3.35. So I got $3.35 an hour, and my mom made me put a portion away that would go to the United Way.
That's nice, though.
United Way. And they took it out before, because I probably, as a 15-year-old kid, I probably would not have, given that money to the United Way. But they took it out each paycheck. I didn't think about it. And then it went to the United Way. So I was, if you can set it and forget it, have it come out beforehand, whether it's for charity like my mother made me do, or it's for retirement, that's what you should do.
That's what you should do. Can you give the name of your book again, please?
Yeah, the Retirement Playbook. And you can get it Amazon, not bookstores. Amazon's the only bookstore these days now.
Right, yeah.
But Amazon.
And if people want to get in touch with you?
They can go to warrenwealth.net, warrenwealth.net. There you'll have all my information. You can even set up a quick 15-minute phone call if you have other questions. Other than that, that's really the best way to get in touch with me. All right.
Thank you.
No problem.
Because I know you had to take time out of your day to come in here and do this. I want you all to know that this is just a journey just like life, y'all. That's what this podcast will be. It is a journey looking at things that will make our lives easier, happier, more fulfilled, simpler. It's in the newsroom. I was talking to Marcus before we started. I have co-workers, family members, I call them, that have given me lists. Look, this is what I need to know, Dawne. You need to handle this. And that is what I'm doing. And together, we'll make life just a little better. Things I need to know in life I didn't learn in school, but it's not too late to learn now. Contact me, the letter D, Gee at wave3.com. Let's learn together. And thank you for joining us.